I think it's important to have conversations and better conversations about what is happiness, what is satisfaction, because when we align your money with what's most important to you, we know that life gets better and people are more satisfied, people are more happy. So that's the key, is identifying where we're off, what feels messy, what doesn't feel good. I mean, we're so used to looking at a balance sheet, a net worth statement, or a income statement of your income for the year, and thinking that if it's big, everything is good. And that's just not the case. Mm-hmm. And unpacking what feels uncomfortable and what doesn't feel right, despite this financial success on paper, is the key point.
How do you see this in people? How do you bring it out of them? Since you say they're really not willing to talk about it.
One of the biggest ways is just to ask better questions. And one of the questions I love to think about is, if you could, what would you do? If you couldn't fail, or if you knew it would work out, what would you really like to do? And just other people have had questions like that, like what would you do if you had a year to live or 5 months to live, or, those kinds of questions. But really just, if you could ... fill in the blank. What would you do? What would your life look like? How would you live? What would this be? And I think that's the easiest, the best place to start. What's other interesting about that is to think about, if you weren't comparing yourselves to everybody, which we all do.
We do, absolutely.
It makes no sense. But if you weren't comparing yourselves to everybody in life and online and Instagram and all these kinds of things, how would you live? What would you do? How much is enough? How much money is enough? And what would you do differently in your life? And I think those are the starting points. If you weren't comparing, and if you could ... how would you fill in that blank? What would life look like?